On Thursday afternoon, somewhere in Texas, a woman named Kiki Clemens starts losing her composure. She does her best to hold it together, but given what she'd just witnessed, that's nearly impossible. Something deeply unsettling had taken place in her backyard, and she pulls out her phone to document it, worried that nobody would take her word for it otherwise. Even before this incident, there had been plenty of moments where she sensed something was off about her property, especially the small shed sitting out back.
Light is off. Everything.
Even though the shed sat completely empty with no one living in it, her dog Dutch would fixate on it constantly. There wasn't a single instance where Dutch would simply ignore it. Whenever she'd turn her attention toward it, her gaze was total and unwavering. As Kiki describes it, Dutch is always zeroed in, staring at something that simply isn't visible to the human eye. Kiki found this odd, sure, but she never seriously entertained the idea that anything paranormal was going on until one particular day changed everything. While she and Dutch were spending time together outside, the shed door suddenly burst open on its own. Shaken to her core, she nervously approaches it and starts filming. Here's what the camera captured.
That was hella weird. There's literally no way that door just opened by itself. Y'all, like, I really don't get freaked out, but that was really just... That door has a keypad lock on it. Like, and it's actually hard to get in. Dutch, where are you going? Don't leave me. There's like... What? Why did you just jump like that? Why did... Baby! Y'all, do you see her? What the f is going on?
For reasons that aren't entirely clear, Dutch is directing her attention toward a specific spot just behind the door. What's telling is that when Kiki gets close enough, there are no feet, no shoes, nothing visible beneath the door frame, suggesting no one is physically standing there. So if the space is empty, what exactly is Dutch reacting to? It's subtle at first, but something that viewers flagged, and that left Kiki genuinely rattled once she noticed, is the angle of Dutch's gaze. She's looking above the height of the door itself, which many people took to mean that whatever is there must be extraordinarily tall. Given that Kiki is already convinced something supernatural is at play, she believes there was a presence in that shed that only her dog was able to perceive. Even now, Dutch continues to stare at that same spot, seemingly unsettled by something completely invisible to everyone else. A man residing in an older home noticed his cats behaving in a very peculiar way one afternoon. They had gathered just outside his bedroom doorway, crying out loudly and persistently, as though they were trying to alert him to some kind of danger. Their behavior was bizarre enough that he pulled out his phone and hit record.
These have been meowing like crazy by the bedroom door and like crashing into it as if trying to get my attention. What is it? What you want? Something going on? Hey? Hey? Come on. What's going on? What is it, guys? Whoa, it's cold in here. Hey, what is it, buddy? Oh, what the hell? Oh my god. Yep, good idea. What the hell was that? Hello? Is anyone in here? Hello? Show yourself. What? Are you doing this? Oh my god. There's like a wind. Oh my god, what is that? What is that? The room is so friggin' cold as well. Come here, guys. Come here, guys. What? Look, it's swinging. I have not been near it. There's nobody else here. I'll show you as best I can. What? None of this makes any sense. How can this stuff be happening? What fell? What is that?
Stepping into the room, he was immediately struck by how noticeably cold the air felt compared to the rest of the house. Not long after, a sheet of paper slipped off a table and drifted to the floor, despite every window being shut and no fans running anywhere nearby. Shortly following that, several objects around the room seemed to shift ever so slightly on their own. The most chilling moment arrived when an overhead light fixture started swinging back and forth with no apparent explanation. Throughout the whole ordeal, the cats stayed on edge and hyper-focused, their gaze locked on areas where absolutely nothing was visible. It was almost as if they were responding to some kind of unseen presence. Just what had captured their attention that day is something nobody has been able to explain.
Ew, look, see, it's only a deer trail now. People aren't here. Is that fog already sitting in down there? Look at that, creeping across the field. Normal. Fog. I'm not trying to be sick, but I'm just showing you. It smells like urine up here, but not people. It smells funny. No way, what is that? No. Dude, that's a rusty fucking hammer. I just seen it because I was gonna place this down. I haven't looked down there.
Laura D fired up her live stream. Everything looked routine at first, until she reached the tree line and encountered something extraordinary. A dense, concentrated mass of fog hanging in an otherwise perfectly clear open field. Localized phenomena like this are frequently interpreted as a thinning of the veil, a physical threshold between worlds. And that corroded hammer sitting right at the edge of it, it stops feeling like discarded junk and starts feeling like something deliberately placed an anchor holding that threshold open. Still, she pushes through. As darkness swallows the forest completely, the entire psychological weight of the environment transforms, and she senses it immediately.
Okay. It's new, it has no debris on it. I mean, it's a little dirty and wet from the rain, but it's wet, but it's not. It's new, but it's not new, if that makes any sense. It's like there should be more debris and it's covered up. I didn't miss anybody. Good. Okay. Here we go. My glow ball is going off in my thing. I thought I had them all turned off. Hello? What was that? Orlando, thank you, darling. You're the best. You are doing an awesome job. Thank you. I love when you guys send me little notes with it. You guys are the best. Thank you. What's following me? Run. I don't know. Behind you? Stop it. I swear sometimes these spirits are big trolls too. You guys might have to listen to what it's saying, because sometimes I can't always hear it or make it out. Woohoo! Fall apart. Leave. I'm leaving. I'm slowly getting out of here. What is out here with me? Watch my live, so he's got to text me real quick. What is that? Dude, what is that?
Something out there is actively following her movements. If you study the shadows in the undergrowth carefully, you'll spot them a pair of sharp, glowing red eyes. But the most chilling part isn't simply that she's being watched. It's the specific way she's detecting it. She makes a point of noting that those eyes are only visible through her phone screen.
Oh no. Damn it! There's the one up there. You see it? Hold on. There's one up there. That's not the same one I saw. I can only see that through the phone. I can't see it with my eyes.
Her own biology can't register it, yet the digital sensor is capturing frequencies, almost certainly infrared, that her unaided vision simply cannot process.
That's what's it doing? Ah! 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 Guys! I'm not freaking out. I'm not freaking. Hello? Oh my God! It just cocked its freaking head both ways. Hello? Hi, I'm sorry. Ugh. Hi. Hello. Come back. Okay, I'm shaking, guys, I'm sorry. Hi. Did you see it cock its head?
Whatever this thing is, it operates just beyond the threshold of human perception. Then, something changes. The eyes extinguish, only to reappear glowing a cold, stark white. Pay attention to that subtle motion, the slight tilt of the head. In the study of animal behavior, that gesture is a recognized signature of predatory assessment. This thing has stopped merely watching. It is now calculating, determining whether she represents a danger or an easy target.
See, there it went again. It just dropped. It's not being thrown, it's dropping. That was so cool. He didn't do anything, but that doesn't mean he's not gonna. Let's keep your eyes open, guys. Please keep your eyes open and let me know. I'm watching between the trees. I don't see any eye shine. I don't see any with my eyes. I'm looking through the camera. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I can scan a little better. Oh, that was so cool. Okay, everybody calm down. There's something behind me right here. Ah. Ooh. I need to get through there. Hi. Okay. Yeah, I see the second.
The situation deteriorates fast. The entity begins deploying auditory disorientation as a tactic, hurling sounds from directly ahead of her to directly behind her in an instant, completely dismantling her sense of spatial orientation. When the eyes reappear, they're cycling rapidly between yellow and white, and the gap between them has expanded dramatically. Either it has ascended high into the canopy, or what she's facing is something of truly enormous scale.
Oh, right there. It's smaller and its eye's not red, but it's like an amberish silver. Oh, there's a third one. Did you see that? Over to the right. Oh my God, I've got to come through that way, please. I'm turning my light out to prove I don't need to shine light for them to reflect their eyes. There's no light pointing at them. Okay, it's still staying there, so let me zoom in. Sorry guys, I don't mean to do that. It's kind of hard to... Hey, I'm coming through. Hey, woo. Just let me be able to see where you're at now. Zoom me out a little bit. What is going on? There's two looking at me now. Are those one big set or is that separate? It's freaking me out. I don't know. Maybe that's the littlest one I've got. I need to get over into the middle more. Ow, God, I just put myself in the eyeball. Oh my God. Dude, stop. Okay, hey. Hi. Okay, I screwed up, guys. Hello. Oh my God, it's right there, and it's above me, and it's tall, and I don't know what to do. Oh my God, okay. Hi. Okay, it let its red down a little bit. Okay, I took a step. All right, hi. I'll step back. Don't eat me now, come on. Hello. Hi. I don't mean to make you mad. I will leave right now, just let me go. Okay, the red went down a little bit, notice? Now watch when I take a, aha, see? As soon as I moved. I've got to go. I need you to let me out. Guys, there's nothing. There's nothing there. Tangerine, thank you. I need you to let me go, honey. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I just want to see your structures back here. My God, it's so tall, dude. It is so tall. Okay. Hi. Nothing. Guys, there's nothing there. Hi. It's so tall, and it's right in front of me. It's 20 feet, 3 feet, 2 steps, 3 steps for it. My God, and it's not blinking. Oh God, okay, everybody please. I'm down, okay, I'm down. I'm on my knees. I'm begging now, come on. Come on now. Oh my God, I'm not.
A pair of red eyes hovering nearly 10 feet off the ground, but this is the moment where rational explanation collapses entirely. Animal eyes contain a reflective membrane that bounces light back toward its source. Yet when Dee sweeps her flashlight away, those eyes remain fully lit. That is not reflection. That is self-generated biological illumination. And when she shines the beam directly at it, there is no body behind those eyes, no fur, no flesh, no physical form. Just 2 burning points of light suspended in empty darkness.
I can't move. I got one's behind me and this one in front of me, and I can't do anything. It's my way, man. I can't go anywhere. Okay. Please. Where'd you go? I can see it, but I can't get it on camera. Okay. I bent down. Okay. I'm on my knees here, man. Okay. The one's freaking out behind me. And then I've got to keep my eyes on this one. I don't know what he's going to do if I turn. I don't know what's going to happen. Damn it. Oh, he's so big, man. Okay. Fuck. Please. Okay. I don't know how to beg. I'm standing up, okay? I'm standing. I'm panicking, and I'm trying not to, guys. Okay, I gotta walk your direction, man. Let me go. Let me go. Guys, he's so big. Oh my God. Oh my God, okay. Big giant wasted lake. Oh my God. Guys, I'm being watched. I don't know if you can see that. Hello. It's not red, and it's nowhere near as big, but it's yellow. Okay. I just need to get, there's 2. There's 2 of them. I don't know if I can catch it. I can't get the second one. I seen it with my eyes and not the camera. Okay. Okay. I am in here so damn deep. I don't even know if I'm going the right way. I'm like, my brain is fried right now. I don't even know. I'm leaving. I'm just trying to, even though those back here, I just want them to know I'm going. My voice is leaving. It's getting further away. So is my light. I'm going. Whoop, whoop, talking loud. I'm leaving. Guys, what's wrong? Wait a minute. Okay. Am I going in circles? Wait a minute. I just passed that. Guys, I just passed that. Stop. Did I just walk in fucking... Wait a minute. Guys! The whole fucking woods, did you see me walk up a hill? The whole woods have changed. What the fuck? Guys, that is not where I just fucking walked from. What is that? There's a fence. What the fuck is happening? Oh my God.
Completely encircled by the sound of snapping branches tightening in from every direction, she pleads to be released, and inexplicably, the pressure eases. But this is where the footage becomes something far more disturbing. Study the terrain carefully. Just before the encounter peaked, she had climbed a steep, demanding incline. Now, as the entities begin to withdraw, that elevation has simply ceased to exist. The ground is flat. The landscape has rewritten itself. If you've been following this series, this kind of spatial looping and geometric distortion is going to feel very familiar. She didn't just wander into the woods, she crossed into a localized dimension, a maze engineered to disorient, contain and cycle its victims until they shatter. After hours of moving in circles, the forest finally releases its grip. She locates the way out, but predators don't simply allow prey to leave, they shadow it all the way to the edge of their domain. As she exits, completely unaware, those luminous eyes remain visible deep within the brush, holding their position at the boundary line. She arrives back at the same empty field where the night began, but as she scans the distance far from the fog, a tall, pale figure phases in and out of the dark. It matches precisely the universal archetype known as the woman in white. But let's pause and truly absorb the staggering, terrifying scope of what Dee actually survived. Consider the paranormal weight of this footage. In a single night, within a single confined area, she documented an impossible range of distinct entities. First, the smaller red-eyed figures in the undergrowth, behaving like forward scouts or lower-order parasites. Then, the 10-foot red-eyed presence that coordinated the ambush, bending the acoustics of the forest to its will. And towering above it all, the enormous white-eyed watcher positioned in the canopy. Given how extraordinarily wide apart those glowing white eyes were spaced, the creature's face alone would need to span more than 3 feet across, mounted on a body tall enough to crest the very top of the tree line. Here is the theory that should unsettle you most. Ecology does not permit this many distinct apex predators to occupy the same hunting ground simultaneously. They would destroy one another, competing for resources, unless, of course, none of them actually belong to this ecosystem at all. Back in September 2021, a father captured this unsettling footage while filming his son at play. The clip begins with a perfectly innocent, wholesome moment, but within seconds, everything shifts when something completely unexpected enters the frame.
A ver, dile a la abuela, limón. Dile, mandarina. ¡Mandarina! Se cayó. No. Dile, espera, Marco. Otra vez, micrófono. ¿Rolo? No mames, mierda. No mames. No, espera. Alguien se metió. Quédate ahí, Daniel. Alguien se metió. No mames. ¿Rolo?
¿Será el perro?
No mames. No.
As he was recording, the front door of the home swung open by itself without warning. His initial thought was that a gust of wind must have been responsible, but when he went outside to investigate, he spotted something lurking near the front window, and just like that, it was gone. Disturbingly, this wasn't the first time something like this had occurred in that house. On August 29th, 2025, a woman by the name of Dom was alone at her storage unit, rearranging her belongings and getting things in order as part of an ongoing move, when something unsettling suddenly caught her attention.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the fuck is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right?
There it is. Out of the corner of her eye, Dom spots what appears to be a dark, shadowy figure peering out at her from the far end of the corridor. Initially, she figured it might just be a fan oscillating back and forth, but when she noticed it appearing differently each time it peeked out, the unease got to her, and she walked out. A couple of days later, she was forced to return to retrieve some of her things, and that's when it hit her there were no standing fans anywhere in the building.
Listen, see, this is my storage. And I'm honestly, I'm like acting like you guys are human, or...
Man had recently begun noticing unsettling things happening around his home. Strange sounds would wake him in the middle of the night, and he'd occasionally find objects that seemed to have moved on their own. Every time he brought it up, the people around him brushed it off. Fed up with being dismissed, he decided to set up recordings throughout the house. Then, one evening, while he was home alone, an eerie sound broke the silence from somewhere down the hall in his bedroom. It wasn't the familiar settling of old walls. This sounded intentional. Heart pounding but unable to stop himself, he pulled out his phone, hit record, and crept slowly toward the room to see what was waiting for him.
Whoa, what? Man, this is too freaky.
The moment he crossed the threshold, things around him started moving without explanation. Then his eyes landed on the TV screen, and he went completely still. Reflected back at him in the dark glass was the faint outline of a tall, shadowy figure standing just a short distance behind him. He's now certain that whatever is sharing his home with him, it isn't his imagination. This next clip was posted to YouTube some years back by a man who goes by Martin. He describes himself as a photographer who regularly visits an old church, using it as a backdrop for his photos and videos. On this particular occasion, he decided to take his friends and followers on a casual walkthrough of the building. Things felt completely ordinary as he moved through the space, pointing out various areas of the location. But right before wrapping up, he chose to make his way down to the basement, a spot he calls the Red Room. What unfolded next is something he says he'll never truly get over.
3 of my favorite place to shoot. It's a little dark outside. It's pretty cloudy. It's rained all day today. I'm going to show you guys my favorite place to go. Downstairs in what I call the Red Room. The Red Room is a place I go once I'm done shooting for the day, just to kind of look at pictures, see if I need to retake anything, re-edit anything. I'll show you why it's called the Red Room. It's pretty cool. Because usually going into the basement. When you turn the light off during the day, it's got a nice tint of red. I'll show you. It's a little dark now, but can't see. Come down here, it's peaceful, it's quiet. Shit! Shit, 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 shit. Oh my god. Oh shit. Shit.
As Martin sweeps his light across the room, the shape of what looks like a figure becomes visible, seated in a chair, and within moments, it suddenly rises and starts moving in his direction. The second he realizes he's not alone, Martin spins around and bolts, desperately trying to put as much distance between himself and that room as possible. He's said the encounter left him completely rattled. Even now, he claims he still struggles to wrap his head around the fact that the whole thing was caught on camera, and he urges people never to go exploring locations like this by themselves. So what's your take on the footage? Whatever was sitting in that room in total darkness, what do you think it was? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Deep in the mysterious Gulf of Mexico region, paranormal investigators Michelle and Ben made their way to the infamous Thomas House to conduct a full investigation. Situated in Tennessee, the property dates back to 1890 and has accumulated a staggering history over the decade's 40 fires, countless deaths, suspected murders, and a string of horrific accidents. All of that tragedy has left its mark, with visitors frequently reporting ice-cold spots throughout the building, beds that move on their own, and disembodied voices alongside shadowy figures that seem to appear out of nowhere. So when Michelle and Ben sat down to run a spirit box session, things got active almost immediately.
You're from, the 1800s, 1900s, you might not understand what Ben's holding, but it's a device that you can communicate with us. So I need you, okay? But I need you to concentrate, really concentrate, and speak to us. However, you have to create a voice box, but say something, please. We can hear you. Hello? Hello. Thank you. That was perfect. I got chills. That was awesome. You rock. How many of you are here? Can you give me a number? Maybe if you say a number, it's easier. 8? Hello.
Yeah, what was that?
It was like, hello.
A number of intelligent-sounding responses came filtering through their questions, but it was later that same night when the cameras captured something that would make your blood run cold. Nobody was prepared for what showed up.
So we're waiting for him, and then we're gonna get going, rolling.
As Ben stood facing the camera and spoke, a dark, looming figure materialized in the window directly behind him. The shape surged forward toward the glass and appeared to be fixing its gaze straight onto the investigators. Neither Michelle nor Ben had any awareness of the presence lurking just over their shoulders as this ominous black form stared back at them in silence. Somewhere in Chile, late at night, a man lying in his bed manages to capture something unfolding right before his eyes, and what his camera records is guaranteed to make your skin crawl.
Sale conchetumare. Ah, conchetumare.
It's roughly 3 in the morning when it all goes down. The man speaks directly toward the door, telling it to open, and just like that, it does inching apart slowly at first, then swinging wide open. The response is almost instant, as if whatever is waiting on the other side heard every word. He gets up to investigate, but when he reaches the door, there's nobody there. Understandably, he's completely rattled, left with the unsettling feeling that something beyond explanation just occurred. He's convinced it was a paranormal event, and the majority of people who've seen the footage tend to agree with him. But the question is yours to answer: was that door truly moving by itself? Or is there another explanation? A woman was out in her backyard one afternoon, casually filming the area, when her camera picked up something deeply unsettling. There, among the laundry hanging on the line, mysterious handprints began materializing on the surface of a pink jacket visible in the background. The impressions gradually emerged on the fabric, as though someone had pushed their hands against it from behind. A number of viewers were quick to point out that the prints looked remarkably small, almost like they belonged to a child. That said, plenty of skeptics weren't convinced, suggesting the whole thing could have been a carefully orchestrated hoax. A few people noted that the gap between the clothesline and the brick wall behind it looked wide enough for someone to reach through and press their hands into the jacket without being seen. Seriously, what is going on here? First up, about 12 years back, a video was quietly uploaded to YouTube and barely anyone noticed it. The person who posted it claims this is what unfolded inside his home, a house that was constructed directly over a Native American burial ground. When he made the decision to bring out a Ouija board, the session he kicked off ended up becoming one of the most chilling encounters you'll ever come across. See for yourself.
1, 2. I didn't sway. I don't know. I'm tempted to run out the garden. I really can't do anything with that anyway. The noise is going on. Alright, that's pretty much garden time. The power of Christ compels ye. I feel like a fool. Oh God. Yeah, that's kind of Where's my Ouija board? The power of Christ compels you. That's terrible. God, I'm tired.
Even before the session properly gets underway, he points toward a glass cup and it suddenly explodes into fragments right before his eyes. At the exact moment it shatters, a drawer in the background swings wide open with no one anywhere near it. It's as though that single moment unleashed something deeply dark within the walls of that house. Items in the kitchen begin toppling over and launching themselves in his direction without a single hand touching them. What's striking, though, is that he doesn't lose his composure. The way he carries himself suggests this isn't his first time dealing with something like this. He actually holds the board up to shield himself from the incoming objects. This session may have set off some of the most convincing poltergeist activity we've ever come across on camera. But what's coming up next takes things even further. Billy Kryzak deploys professional-grade camera equipment in his pursuit of potential UAP and UFO evidence in the early months of 2026. According to him, what he managed to record stands among the most compelling and clear-cut proof of a UAP he's ever come across. He then took that footage straight to social media, where it exploded in popularity almost immediately.
With the Ninja 5 on the top, recording in ProRes RAW through a 1200mm lens. So this is basically, I'm using a telescope for this at extremely high bitrate levels and zero compression on the footage. So this is about as clean as I'm going to be able to get with what I have. So what is it? It looks like a bar of light. Like, it literally just looks like a bar of light, and to your eye it looks a little different than it does that's captured by the camera. I don't know why that's the case, but I stood there with binoculars and I was watching them fly around, and it looks pearlescent, right? It's a pearlescent white light. Yeah, so I've seen these things do very different behaviors and their flight characteristics. Sometimes they're flying, the bar is kind of like going straight like this, and it will actually turn, and the bar itself will be on the perpendicular, or not, parallel to its movement, right? So it's actually...
This unsettling clip comes from a guy who lives by himself and had just returned to his apartment building after finishing a late shift. He was exhausted, running on empty, and his mind was probably fixed on one thing: getting through the door and collapsing into bed. But when he paused outside and glanced up toward his bedroom window, he spotted something that stopped him dead in his tracks. His first thought was that fatigue was playing tricks on him. Then it hit him that there was genuinely something standing in his room, so he yanked out his phone and started filming. See what he captured.
Mamen, acabo de llegar del trabajo y vean lo que estoy viendo en la ventana. No mamen.
As he zooms in on that top floor window, a pale, almost see-through face becomes visible, peering down from the darkness inside. It doesn't shift, it doesn't flinch, it simply stares as though it had been standing there waiting for him to arrive. And the detail that makes your skin crawl is this: he lives alone. So if nobody was supposed to be in that bedroom, what exactly was gazing out from behind that glass? Rather than heading upstairs to investigate, he did exactly what most of us would do after witnessing something like that. He kept his distance, uploaded the footage online, and rang a friend so he could sleep somewhere else that night. Maybe it was a trespasser, a reflection, or just some odd distortion in the window, but if that face genuinely belonged to something inside his apartment, it had been sitting there in the dark waiting for him long before he ever touched the door handle.
Mamen, acabo de llegar del trabajo y vean lo que estoy viendo en la ventana. No mamen.
This photograph was snapped just outside Guatemala's National Palace during a religious procession. The person behind the camera was simply capturing the day as it unfolded, the crowds, the ceremony, a perfectly unremarkable afternoon. It wasn't until they were back home, quietly flicking through their gallery, that something in the background stopped them cold. And once they spotted it, there was no going back to seeing the image as innocent. Up in one of the higher windows, partially visible between the columns, something appears to be gazing outward, pale, vaguely formed, unmistakably face-like, with many viewers describing it as an angelic or spectral figure emerging from the shadows within. The National Palace holds centuries of layered history, and more than a few dark chapters are woven into its walls. The image lost a little clarity in the process of being shared online, but the shape is undeniably there. Whether the building's troubled past has any connection to whatever is staring out from that window, well, that's entirely for you to judge. This next clip was uploaded to TikTok by a woman who goes by Tasha, and it's genuinely hard to watch without feeling your heart rate spike. She recounts how her dog Bella may have stepped in and protected her from a very threatening situation near a riverbank in the forested outskirts of Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Things start off looking completely normal. Tasha is relaxing by the water with Bella right beside her. Then the mood shifts in an instant when a man suddenly rises out of the river and begins making his way toward them. Bella doesn't hesitate for a second, planting herself between Tasha and the approaching stranger and erupting into fierce, aggressive barking.
What are you doing? You can't get out here, sir. No! Don't! Don't come! Don't come! What are you doing?
Tasha tells the man he has no right to come onto the bank there, but he refuses to go and begins behaving erratically. At one point, he lowers himself down as though he's trying to conceal himself, and the words coming out of his mouth are slurred and barely coherent. Bella holds her ground, keeping him back while Tasha reaches out for help.
What are you doing? You're not taking my tube, boy. I'm recording. It is. I seen all of you. I got all of you on camera.
I'm with them, right?
Then go get with them.
When Tasha went back and reviewed the footage afterward, she noticed something chilling. Bella had actually begun whimpering several minutes before the man ever showed up. It was as though she detected the threat before it was even visible. The comment section was overwhelmed with people applauding Bella's instincts. One commenter put it perfectly, writing something like, "Imagine if she didn't have that dog. Thank God she did. Someone give that pup a steak." It was later confirmed, according to Tasha, that the man was a well-known local thief operating in the Mount Pleasant area. Because Bella stayed alert and stood her ground, things never got out of hand, and Tasha made it home completely safe. Posted to a well-known ghost clip channel, the video follows a man as he documents his walkthrough of a location rumored to be haunted. He moves carefully from one room to the next, and then something stops him cold. Standing at a window in one of the rooms, he's suddenly confronted by a deeply unsettling figure on the other side of the glass. The camera catches it all with disturbing clarity, a figure with long, wild hair and a face that's hard to shake, just standing there outside, seemingly locked on to the man's every movement. His visceral reaction of shock and dread comes through instantly, making an already spine-tingling scene feel that much more suffocating. Second clip tonight comes from a channel called Random Adventures 2.0. Run by a guy named Tony, who field tests survival equipment by spending nights in locations most sane people deliberately steer clear of. Graveyards, derelict buildings, forgotten patches of forest. His whole thing is staying invisible while he documents what prolonged isolation in genuinely unsettling environments does to a person's head. He got out alive, and he got the footage. October 17th, 2025, somewhere in Ohio.
So the door, like I said in that video, is a metal door, and it is actually welded. Here's the window. So when I looked in here, originally I thought it was like a mausoleum or something, but it's not. And I couldn't see in here good enough. But what is that? Buckets and an old wooden ladder.
Thick woodland pressing in on either side of a cemetery cluster, fog rolling through, and a strange stone structure sitting on top of a raised mound in the distance. The light is fading fast. The wind is starting to move. Tony is scrambling to lock down a position before anyone in the area gets a good look at him. Then a figure in a dark hoodie comes tearing straight across the cemetery grounds. Tony goes completely still, convinced this person is either running from something or actively tracking him down. A few agonizing seconds pass. It's just a local on an evening jog. That relief evaporates in about 4 seconds flat. Dusk now. A second figure appears, this one walking a dog uncomfortably close to where Tony is hidden. The animal zigzagging along the tree line, like it's already picked something up. Tony presses himself flat into the undergrowth and stops breathing. Probably just a guy out with his pet, unless the dog zeroes in on him, at which point the whole operation is done. Then engines, loud ones. Close, a pack of ATV riders comes grinding through the graveyard along a path that has no business existing. They pull up near his position, argue about which direction to go, and conclude they have no idea where they are. Tony stays glued to the dirt, sandwiched between the noise and the very real chance of being found lying in a graveyard after dark.
Uh-oh, I'm scared. All right, well, I think I've had enough time up here. I don't even think I'm going to walk around to the front of it. All right, so that's the stone building. Like I said,
he ventures out to get a closer look at the stone mound and its standing rocks when a sharp metallic screech rips through the quiet right beside him. No visible source, no rational explanation. He doesn't stick around to work it out. It's straight back to the hammock. Exploration. Finished. Then dinner falls apart on top of everything else. The camp stove quits at 46 degrees, turning what was supposed to be a steak dinner into an unplanned all-night fast. He spends the remaining hours lying there listening to the wind and the rhythmic clanking of a corroded flagpole chain somewhere out in the blackness. Every single sound filing itself under possible threat. Come sunrise, a cemetery maintenance truck rolls in with a full grounds crew ready to start their shift, which sends Tony into a frantic, completely silent scramble to vanish before anyone official realizes he was ever there. 5 cemeteries, 3 near misses with passers-by, 1 metallic shriek with absolutely nothing behind it. Stealth camping, it turns out, isn't really about where you are. It's the relentless mental calculation of whether the next noise is nothing or the one that ends your night badly, or ends something else. Yeah, cemetery camping is a hard pass from me. A man was going through his usual routine, taking care of some things around the house, when an odd sound began rising up from below. He tried to shake it off at first, just one of those creaks an old house makes, nothing worth worrying about. But the noise kept returning, growing louder with each pass, more intentional, as if something beneath the floorboards was actively moving around. The longer he stood there listening, the more impossible it became to dismiss. Eventually, the quiet up top started feeling more unsettling than whatever was making the racket below. Nerves creeping in, he grabbed his phone, flipped on the camera, and made his way toward the basement stairs.
hello? Anybody here? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Right in front of him, the basement door began to swing open on its own, slowly, inch by inch, as though something on the other side was deliberately drawing it back. The house around him was completely motionless, no footsteps, no voices, just that steady, grinding creak tearing through the silence. Then, from somewhere deep in the darkness beyond, a second door crashed violently shut, the impact rattling through the entire space. That's the moment the confidence drains right out of him. He locks up, torn between turning and running, or pressing forward. And the most chilling part, whatever caused that bang, was still somewhere down there with him.
Who is it?
Then the lights died, without a single warning. The whole basement was swallowed whole by pitch black. The man took off immediately, and in the scramble, his phone tumbled out of his grip and hit the floor. That should have been where the story ended, but a few seconds later, the phone started sliding across the ground on its own, and the footage picked up something even harder to explain: low, warped sounds reverberating through the room, as if something was still present down there alongside it. So what was actually going on in that basement? Was there an intruder lurking in the shadows, or did that camera manage to record something that was never meant to be seen? On July 16, 2010, at approximately 4:45 in the morning, a man stepped out onto his residential street armed with a camera, determined to document something unusual he'd spotted. Based on the audio, it seems like he brought a friend along for the experience. As he lowers the camera, a figure he personally identifies as an extraterrestrial becomes clearly visible through the night vision lens, and it's producing some deeply unsettling sounds.
Down here, if it went across that way, or who? I'm just gonna put the camera down right here on this pole. Dude, look through the night vision. Look on the screen. See, what is that? Hello? Hey, who is that? This tripped me out, dude. You know what? Let's go. Work it!
One thing that stood out to me is that the creature's audio doesn't blend very smoothly with the rest of the recording. If it were a dubbed-in sound effect, it almost seems like whoever uploaded it didn't quite manage to fade it out properly to sell the illusion, though that's purely my own take on it. The figure itself looks surprisingly convincing, and there's something strange about what appears to be a kind of visual glitch layered right over it. Most viewers who've come across this footage seem to find it genuinely frightening, but I want to know what you think is actually going on here. The person who posted it left this in the description, quote, "I had just gotten to work, and Albie arrived shortly after me. We went to check out what I believed was some kind of animal in the office parking lot. I heard a noise I simply cannot put into words, and the footage from that cheap camera doesn't do justice to what we actually heard." End quote. And honestly, that might explain a lot. The following footage was recorded inside a home at nighttime by a man who'd apparently been dealing with unexplained disturbances for long enough that his frustration had already curdled into something closer to dread.
Started again. Started again. in my house. I'm getting sick of this shit. I'm getting sick of this shit. Alright. I'm gonna confront you, bastard. I'm coming up here.
You can hear it in his voice from the very first second. Not shock, but exhaustion. The tone of someone who's been through this before and is finally at his breaking point. The banging had started again, loud and rhythmic, coming from somewhere upstairs, and this time he'd had enough. But what happens at the top of those stairs sends him straight back down, screaming, scrambling, running out the front door into the night, where his panicked, ragged breathing is the only sound left. Some viewers think the banging pattern itself is the most telling detail, rhythmic, deliberate, almost like it was designed to provoke a response, to draw him up those stairs. But what do you think? The following video was recorded by a man working the night shift at what appears to be a school called Patterson. And according to him, strange things happen there regularly enough that he decided to start documenting it. He's alone in the building, moving through darkened hallways with only his camera light cutting through the dark, and he's already unsettled before he even starts filming. Watch.
No sé si alcancen a ver. Miren, es como si alguien se viera ahí en la ventana. ¿Sí ven? ¿Ven? ¿Sí vieron? Apagar. No hay más para allá. Se supone que están apagados todos los focos. Pero cuando tú ya sales, lo prenden. Se prende. Solo.
There are 3 separate moments across this clip that are hard to shake. First, a dark, stationary silhouette is visible in the narrow window of a locked cafeteria door, shaped like the head and shoulders of a person, just standing there in the dark on the other side. Then the security footage from room 112 shows something small and low to the ground darting across an empty hallway in under a second. And when he steps outside, he notices one classroom window glowing bright, while every other window in the building is completely dark. And he says the lights weren't on when he was inside. 3 separate incidents, 1 building, 1 shift. Skeptics will point to reflections and electrical faults, and those are fair arguments. But if you look at the silhouette in that cafeteria door, it's not shifting or flickering the way a reflection would. It just holds completely still. What do you think was standing on the other side of that door? The following videos all come from the same woman, filmed inside what appears to be her apartment, and taken together, they paint a picture of something that has been making itself known for a while, escalating from strange sounds to something far more physical. In the first clip, she's in bed late at night, phone in hand, filming her dark bedroom. When she sees something, watch.
Obviamente no me voy a levantar a ver qué es, pero tengo miedo, estoy temblando del miedo. Si pasa algo, no mames. No mames. Creo que hay alguien atrás de la puerta. O algo. Tengo miedo. Tal vez era mi imaginación, no miré mal. Pero salí corriendo de ahí porque ya no puedo. Ya no puedo, ya no sé qué hacer. Son las 4 de la mañana. Pero sé que había algo ahí, sé que miré algo y no estoy loca. No estoy loca. Tengo que entrar a trabajar al rato y no he dormido nada. Estoy nerviosa, no sé qué está pasando.
At the bottom of the door, you can see a solid dark shadow, shaped like the bottom of legs or feet. What follows is even more unsettling. She's in her car at 4 in the morning, crying, insisting she's not crazy, that she saw something real. And then she shares a screenshot of a text exchange she'd had with someone who looked into her building's history. 3 deaths in that apartment since 2022, and 3 separate incidents involving gunshots since 2024. That backstory reframes everything. The shadow under the door isn't just a strange shape anymore. It's something moving through a space that has already swallowed lives. Some believe that locations with violent histories develop what certain paranormal researchers loosely describe as residual trauma, a kind of energetic imprint left behind by sudden or painful death, and that these imprints can manifest physically, sometimes even mimicking the people who died there. Others think it's something active, not residual at all, something aware. The second clip, also from inside her home and captured on security cameras, shows the activity taking a different form entirely. In the first camera angle, she's in the kitchen on a phone call when a loud bang rings out. She identifies it immediately as her bedroom door opening on its own, telling the person she's talking to, "There's nobody here, watch."
Estaré con él en el momento de angustia, lo libraré, lo llenaré de honores, lo colmaré con muchos años de vida y le haré gozar de mi salvación.
Later that same night on a second camera, she's on the sofa reading aloud from what sounds like a religious or spiritual text, when, without any warning, she hears a sound like one of her doors opening. The movement of physical objects, unseen forces manipulating a person's environment, is one of the more documented patterns in cases involving locations with traumatic histories, and some believe that reading spiritual text can actually provoke a reaction rather than provide protection, as if something in the space responds to the attempt to push it out. In the next clip, caught on the same home security camera during daylight hours, she's simply walking through the living room when this happens. Watch. You can clearly see her put off the light, so seeing it back on felt shocking. The final clip is from a security camera time-stamped just after 2:30 in the morning. She's in the laundry room, bent over an appliance, doing something entirely ordinary when it starts. Listen closely. Besides what fell, an unexplained child's laugh inside an apartment with 3 deaths on record is the kind of detail that doesn't let go easily, and I'd love to hear what you think that sound was. Now in this next clip, a man was alone at night, inside what appears to be an abandoned unit, one he says he'd entered to track down a water leak traced back to a damaged AC system, when something in the dark stopped him cold. The building was already unsettling on its own. Narrow passages, old stall partitions, almost no light, and the low metallic hum of broken machinery filling the silence around him. He moved slowly through the space, camera in hand, when a sudden loud bang somewhere deeper in the building made him flinch. That's when he turned the camera toward a dark, open closet at the end of a short passage. Watch.
I was investigating a water leak and had tracked the source to a damaged AC system in this abandoned unit. The entity manifests near the end of the video.
The door opens itself before it slams shut on its own, and from that point forward, the clip doesn't let up. What follows is difficult to explain away cleanly. A distorted, high-pitched cackling echoes through the room, while a stall door swings open with violent force, and when he peers under the partition, a pair of pale, long, unnaturally thin, bare feet are visible standing in the adjacent stall. They don't look right. Many viewers who've seen this describe figures that appear in doorways or corners and are sometimes linked in Middle Eastern traditions to the jinn, entities believed to inhabit abandoned or neglected spaces. Skeptics argue the entire sequence is too cinematically timed to be genuine, with each scare landing almost on a rhythm, but that's a hard argument to hold on to when you get to those feet. What exactly was standing in that stall with him? And what did he walk into that building carrying back out? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. This next video was recorded inside a flat in what appears to be an ordinary afternoon. A couple just sitting on the couch, watching TV, and a tabby cat named Rory wandering between the coffee table. Nothing about the scene suggests anything unusual is happening, until he moves his phone camera up.
Alright, so we're just watching TV, and the lampshade's been moving on its own. We've no idea why. There's no window open, there's no reason why it should be moving, but it keeps moving. I have no idea why. So, if someone can explain that to me. Oh, Rory wants to play with his elastic band. But there's no one in the room, there's no reason why it should be moving, but it keeps moving. See? Just trying to enjoy a Starbucks whilst watching David Attenborough, and this is happening.
Maybe like David Attenborough.
Also, for anyone wondering, there's no one over there. There's no one over there. You know, it's still moving. So, someone please explain that.
From the very beginning of the footage, a grey drum-style lampshade hanging from the ceiling can be seen moving on its own, not swinging wildly, but swaying in a slow, steady motion that continues without interruption. What's particularly strange is that the movement isn't a simple back and forth swing. Instead, it appears to follow a subtle circular pattern, almost as if something nudged it and it never quite stopped. The man filming immediately addresses the most obvious explanation. There are no windows open. To prove it, he pans the camera toward a nearby window covered by grey curtains, showing that everything is shut. No breeze, no obvious draft, no fan blowing from across the room. Skeptics were quick to suggest more ordinary explanations. Central heating systems can create subtle air currents, and older buildings sometimes produce vibrations that travel through ceilings and fixtures in unexpected ways. Those possibilities are certainly worth considering, but supporters of the paranormal interpretation pointed to something else. The consistency. The lampshade doesn't appear to slow down. It doesn't wobble randomly. It continues moving in a smooth, almost deliberate pattern, while everything else in the room remains perfectly still. Some viewers even compared it to reports of low-level haunting activity, where ceiling fixtures, hanging objects, and light fittings are often among the first things witnesses claim to see moving without explanation. In many of those stories, the movement itself isn't dramatic. It's the persistence of it that unsettles people, because eventually you stop asking what made it move, and start asking why it hasn't stopped. Whether it's air currents, hidden vibrations, or something far stranger, neither the couple nor Rory ever finds a source for the motion. So if nothing touched it, nothing blew on it, and nothing else in the room was moving, what exactly kept that lampshade swaying? The following clips were recorded by a worker doing his rounds inside what appears to be a large commercial supermarket, checking expiration dates in the deli and dairy section late at night, alone, under the hum of fluorescent lights. He'd been hearing strange noises for a while before he started filming, and he mentions it almost casually at first, like he's trying to convince himself there's a simple explanation. He walks the main aisles slowly, narrating his confusion, until he turns down a narrower aisle and finds a broken package lying on the floor in the middle of it, as if it had already fallen before he arrived. He's mid-sentence trying to figure out what happened when this happens. Watch.
Es bien raro porque estoy checando mis caducidades que me tocó aquí en Salchonería y Lácteos, y curiosamente escuché que algo se cayó. Realmente no alcancé a ver qué fue lo que se cayó, pero sí escuché que se cayó algo. Ya desde hace rato se andan escuchando ruidos pues extraños, y realmente se cayeron unas galletas, creo. No sé, es muy extraño todo esto. Se cayeron unas galletas.
A second box shoots out from the shelf entirely on its own, horizontal, forceful, not a slow slide, and the man barely finishes his thought before the shock hits him. What makes the reaction so hard to dismiss is how unscripted it feels. The camera jerks violently. The Spanish expletive that follows isn't practiced, it's instinctive. Skeptics will argue retail shelves can be unstable and product shifts happen, but the movement here reads more like a throw than a topple, and there was already one fallen item on the floor before this one came off. That's 2 incidents in the same aisle with no one else visible. The activity doesn't stay in one spot though. Later in the same night, in the same building, he pushes through a plastic curtain into the commercial kitchen. Heavy breathing audible, camera still shaking, because he's heard another noise from inside. Watch.
Otra vez están escuchando ruidos. Estaba aquí haciendo el recorrido, pero escuché un ruido aquí adentro. No sé si estaba crujiendo algo o no sé si... No sé. Qué raro. Ya no sé realmente qué hacer. Todo me extraña de este lado. Ya no sé qué hacer. Ya realmente no sé qué es lo que voy a hacer. Ya no entiendo ni qué es lo que está... ¿Qué cojones? No mames. Sácate a la verga, al chile, pinche mamada. Su puta madre. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Hay alguien ahí? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué se ve ahí al fondo? Oh, no mames.
A loud metallic bang erupts with no visible source. Then the industrial oven's control panel, previously dark, activates suddenly with all its lights flashing red. He swears, he backs away, and then he notices something at the far end of a narrow dark gap behind the storage shelves. Before he can make sense of what he's looking at, a large cardboard box is shoved off the shelf directly toward him, and the camera cuts to black on his terrified yelp. Some people who've watched this think whatever is present in that building is becoming progressively more aggressive, escalating from something passive, objects already on the floor, to something actively directed at him. Others believe locations like this, with repetitive overnight labor and the kind of energy built up in industrial spaces over years, can attract or generate activity that responds to being witnessed. What's clear is that by the end of that second clip, he's no longer investigating the noises, he's running from them. The following clips were recorded by a woman and her young daughter, Sarah, inside their home late at night. And what makes this case particularly unsettling is that the activity didn't happen once and stop. It kept building. In the first clip, the woman is filming herself in the kitchen, visibly shaken, while Sarah sits on the counter behind her. She explains that just moments earlier, she heard knocking traveling down the hallway, followed by what sounded like quick footsteps, and Sarah heard them too, independently, without prompting. The woman points her phone toward a dark hallway near the staircase, speaking in a hushed voice about shadows she's seen there before, figures that seem to peek over the banister and disappear. You can feel the tension in the way she holds the camera, steady but uncertain. Then, just as they're trying to calm down, Sarah suddenly reacts to a new sound. Listen closely.
This is really weird. We just heard. What did you hear? Oh, you heard. I just heard knocking coming all the way down the hallway, and there's And she's like, is that Daddy? I said, no. I said, Daddy's taking his shower right now.
But I heard footsteps too.
You heard footsteps? Is that what it was? I heard that too. And our dog is right here. The cat is way back in the bedroom. But we just heard... Hold up. I just heard footsteps way down there. Like, sometimes I'll see shadows over there at that staircase. Like going up. Or like peeking over the banister. I don't know, that was like really weird. So.
We'll make our snack, but if you see anything, that's super weird, like if you see like a shadow or like somebody.
Oh, we hope we don't see somebody.
Yeah.
That won't be good. Yeah. But no, we just heard, it sounded like quick walking. It was like really quick and it sounded like it came, I can't tell if it came from like upstairs where we've been hearing things or
Downstairs.
Or like down at the entrance.
I just heard something.
You heard something yet?
Yeah, it was said like something 2 times.
Okay, what did it sound like?
It sounded like 2 times.
That's really weird.
It was like a zip, but it wasn't a zip. Like it wasn't like.
Did it sound like more like a whisper?
It whispered, and it just sounded like that.
Okay, let's make our snack and go to bed. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm pretty scared.
The child describes hearing a whisper, a sound, twice, and the woman, clearly disturbed, confirms it sounded like a whisper, not a mechanical noise. What makes this hard to dismiss is that the two of them weren't feeding off each other's panic. Sarah heard something the woman didn't, described it independently, and her description held up under questioning. By the end, both of them admitted they were scared, and they decided to just make a snack and go to bed. That decision became its own kind of horror. In the second clip, the phone is set down on the counter, and the camera is static as they move through the kitchen together. Watch.
Sarah, did you say you wanted a snack? You said you wanted a snack? Okay.
Can I help you do your biddings?
You heard that?
Meow?
No, it sounded like that noise you heard earlier.
Maybe it's just like a rat. So
We don't have that sound. Let's go grab some of the stuff. What else do you want?
I'll take strawberries with milk. Because I want milk because milk are healthy. I heard it.
We'll do a healthy snack together. Does that sound good?
Okay, I'm gonna get on the table because I'm pretty scared because if you heard that noise, you heard it, cause I heard that like earlier. I heard it earlier, so while I was sitting there, I heard it.
Yeah, you heard you said it sounded like a snake sound, but it sounded like somebody talking at the same time.
I don't know. It was a snake or a what?
But if you were talking, you don't know what.
So I don't know if it's a snake or a person talking or a rat. I don't.
Okay, that was really weird. My phone just completely glitched.
Yeah.
It froze
Yeah. And
into one spot, and I was like, whoa, I got a weird. You got a shiver feeling? I got like a weird shiver vibe feeling that just like it's got like really cold in here.
Oh yeah.
That was really weird.
Yeah, like I don't know, was that like a snake, a person?
I don't know, but I mean, like that was like the phone glitched.
Yeah.
She's telling her story, and it was just.
Yeah, I'm telling my story.
Did I just see a flash? I don't know. It was really weird.
A loud, layered noise erupts from the direction of that dark hallway. Something that sounds like a deep growl, tangled with a metallic screech, aggressive enough to make the dog look up too. Then, almost immediately after Sarah tries to describe it, the phone violently glitches. The video freezes. The audio drops out completely, and when it recovers, the woman is standing there shaking, saying the room has suddenly gone ice cold. In paranormal research, a sudden temperature drop combined with electronic interference is one of the more frequently reported combinations, often associated with what investigators call an active presence drawing energy from its environment. Skeptics will point to a drafty house and a phone overheating, but the timing, the glitch happening in the exact moment the child is describing the sound, is the part that's genuinely difficult to explain away. So what exactly is in that hallway? Now in this next video, a man is alone at night inside what looks like an office break room or storage area, filming in complete darkness, and he's already terrified before anything even happens. He'd apparently been telling people something strange was going on in this room, and nobody believed him. So he went back in with his phone as his only light source, breathing heavy, scanning the space. Then the sound started. Watch.
Bạn hỏi mọi người không tin. Tụi gì luôn. Đến đỏ. Phải đúng. I know.
First, there's a rustling in the dark, then a loud bang that sends him scrambling for the light switch. Once the room's lit up, he pans around and the camera settles on something sitting on top of the metal lockers, a large red bag of snacks. That's when it moves. No one near it, no vibration you can point to, no draft. It just scrapes forward several inches on its own, with an audible sound that makes him recoil immediately. He reaches out to touch it, almost like he needs to confirm it's real. Some viewers think an animal could explain the sounds in the dark, but that bag moving in a fully lit, clearly visible room is a lot harder to explain away. What do you think was in that room with him? In this next clip, an overnight caregiver had been noticing strange activity at the same time every night, consistent enough that they decided to act like they were asleep and secretly hide a phone to record what was happening. The caregiver works with a female patient who, according to their account, is completely unable to walk. That's the detail you need to hold on to before watching this. Listen closely. A woman steps partially into the doorway from the adjacent room, hunched forward at the waist, hands resting on her thighs, staring directly toward where the caregiver is lying. She doesn't move, not a flinch, not a shift in weight. According to the text, she stood in that exact position for over an hour. Many believe this could be a case of something else entirely occupying the patient's body. Others think it's sleepwalking, though that explanation does little to account for the posture. What would you do if you looked up and saw that? This next video was shared by a lady whose brother had just moved into a new place in Texas, and within what appears to be the first day or two of settling in, before the furniture was even properly arranged, things began moving on their own. The mattress was still wrapped in plastic, the dresser hadn't been placed yet, and according to the person filming, something was already making itself known inside that apartment. Watch.
This is fucking crazy.
The dresser slides across the laminate floor, slowly at first, a deliberate scraping drag that fills the room, then lurches forward a second time before the camera swings down to the mattress, where indentations press into the plastic wrap as the entire thing is pulled across the floor toward the brother sitting nearby. What makes this harder to dismiss is the texture of those indentations. Not a single pull, but the kind of uneven pressure you'd expect from something stepping and dragging at the same time. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, and that term carries real weight here. The word itself comes from the German poltern, meaning to rattle or make noise, and Geist, meaning spirit, a noisy ghost, historically associated with physical disturbance rather than visual apparition. What separates a poltergeist from other hauntings, according to many who study these cases, is the sense of intention behind the movement. Objects don't just fall, they're directed. Skeptics argue fishing line and an off-camera accomplice could explain both pieces of furniture, but the synchronized scraping audio and the progressive movement of the mattress give a lot of viewers pause. That same apartment appears to be the setting for the next clip, this time captured by a static security camera at around 9 a.m. on the 25th of March, 2026, as the man moves through the hallway, cleaning and organizing the space. The room is dim, the mattress still wrapped in plastic and propped against the wall, and something is already audible before anything visible happens. Listen closely. Beneath the ambient room tone, a constant layered stream of distorted whispers runs through nearly the entire clip. Some viewers claim to make out phrases, with one voice appearing to say, "Let us be free," before a loud bang slams from somewhere off camera, twice, and in the background doorway, a dark silhouette appears for just a moment, then disappears, followed seconds later by a faint, wispy shape drifting through the opposite entryway. The man doesn't seem to react. Either he didn't notice, or he's gotten used to it. The whispers themselves are strange because they don't behave like environmental audio. They layer and overlap in a way that some describe as electronic, almost processed, which has split viewers. Some believe the apartment is genuinely saturated with something, while others think the audio was added in post. But then there are those bangs, and that silhouette, and the fact that both clips exist from the same location. Whatever moved that furniture on the first day might not have stopped. The question is whether that presence is content to stay in the background, or whether those whispers were a warning of something still building. You tell me. In the following video, a man is up at 3:30 in the morning when he starts hearing strange noises in his apartment. And before he even goes looking, something has already made itself known. He notices the bathroom light is on, even though there's no one else home. That detail alone is enough to make him nervous, but as he slowly pans his phone camera toward the darkened hallway at the far end of the room, the footage catches something that stops him cold. Watch.
Son las 3:30 de la noche y estoy escuchando ruidos muy extraños. Lo más perturbador de todo es que la luz del baño está prendida y no hay nadie. No hay nadie. Voy a apagarla porque neta me está dando... Hay alguien al fondo. Hay alguien al fondo. Hay alguien al fondo. Ya no hay nadie. Ahí está. ¿Pero por qué? Si la prendo desaparece. No hay nada. No hay nada. What the fuck?
A tall, featureless black silhouette stands motionless in the doorway, solid, dark, and unmistakably humanoid. But what makes this harder to explain is what happens when the lights are switched on. It vanishes instantly, without a trace. And then, the moment the lights go off again, it's back. Same spot, same shape, same stillness. He repeats the test. Lights on, lights off, and the figure responds both times, as if it's tethered to the darkness itself. Some viewers think it's a shadow person, a term used widely in paranormal communities to describe dark humanoid figures that seem to operate at the edges of human perception, often spotted in peripheral vision or in low light. Others insist it's a trick of shadows from a specific object in the room, catching the bathroom light at an angle. But if that were true, flipping the main lights on would just replace one shadow with another, not erase the figure entirely. That distinction is what keeps this one so hard to dismiss. The following night, he's drawn back into another investigation, this time above his apartment, where he'd been hearing noises on the rooftop. He grabs his phone and heads up the concrete stairwell in the dark, and almost immediately, something responds. Listen closely.
Ayer estaba escuchando ruidos muy extraños arriba de mi departamento y decidí subir a grabar. No hay nadie. Y esto tiene candado, no se puede abrir. No se puede abrir. ¡Qué mierda! Ay, yo ya me voy de aquí. Un rostro claramente se alcanza a ver cuando la puerta se abre sola. Claramente se escucha que me están diciendo oye en el video.
A faint voice whispers the word oye, Spanish for hey, just as he starts moving. before he's said a word. Then, at the top of the stairs, the heavy wooden door swings open on its own, slowly and without any contact. And in the brief gap between the door and the wall, something pale and face-shaped appears for just a moment, with two dark hollows where the eyes would be. He checks the rooftop, finds nobody, confirms the fenced area is padlocked shut, and gets out. The disembodied whisper is what unsettles viewers most, because it comes first, before the door moves, before any visual anomaly, as if whatever was up there already knew he was coming. 2 nights, 2 encounters, both in the same building. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. In this next clip, a group of investigators have set up a Hikvision thermal imaging camera in what appears to be a hallway or entryway, white walls, grey tile, a pair of white-paned doors, and the conversation in the background is relaxed, almost casual, the kind of atmosphere you get when people are confident in their equipment and just waiting to see what it picks up. Watch.
No, it's not. I mean, I called this one right away. I was like,
The thermal display shows a persistent, human-sized heat signature sitting directly on those doors, warm yellows and reds clustered in a shape that the crosshair is already tracking. But when the camera pans to show the actual doors in normal view, there's nobody there. No one standing, no one visible through the glass. Many investigators believe heat signatures like this are residual energy, a presence that registers on thermal sensors precisely because it's no longer fully physical. Others think the explanation is simpler, a warm pipe behind the wall, sunlight absorbed in the material. But the signature stays consistent throughout, and you have to ask yourself, what exactly is standing at that door? Now, in this next clip, a young woman in Connecticut was stepping inside her house late one night in June of 2021, her Ring camera catching everything from the front porch. She'd been standing outside for a moment, waiting, and you can even hear her say, "Because it's not fully dark yet," to someone inside, casual and completely unbothered. Nothing about the moment feels off. Watch.
Because it's not fully dark yet.
The second she steps inside, a pale figure suddenly passes through the background, moving down the street, and many viewers immediately compare it to the appearance of a ghost. Some viewers tried explaining it away as a person walking under poor lighting conditions, but others pointed out how unusual the movement feels, especially because the figure doesn't appear to react to its surroundings at all. It simply passes by in silence, almost like it had somewhere specific to go. And that detail taps directly into one of the oldest paranormal ideas. Across multiple cultures, there are stories of road ghosts, or wandering apparitions, figures believed to repeatedly travel the same streets, paths or routes be connected to unfinished business, sudden death, or routines they carried out in life. So what do you think? A ghost or something else? The following 2 clips were both recorded in what appears to be the same industrial facility, a backroom space with concrete floors, pale green walls, and the low hum of fluorescent lighting overhead. the kind of place that's unremarkable on every other night. In the first clip, which was captured by what looks like a fixed security camera, the room is completely empty. No one is working late. No one is walking through. Just a metal garment rack with clothes hanging on it, a pair of rubber boots on the floor, and 2 clad white doors on the left wall. For nearly a full minute, absolutely nothing happens. Watch. The leftmost door swings open abruptly, fast, smooth, and with clear intention, and at the exact same moment, a loud rush of sound fills the room, almost like high-pressure water suddenly forcing through a pipe. And if you look closely at the boot, you'll see it moving like someone trying to turn from one direction to another. But the thing is, no one was wearing the boot. Then the doors start opening, locker after locker. A lot of viewers who've watched the full footage describe it as one of the most sustained, escalating sessions of unexplained activity they've ever seen. Not one event, but a cascade that keeps building until it becomes impossible to stay. Then in the second clip, recorded at night in what appears to be a security or guard room inside the same building, a man sits alone, coughing and breathing heavily, his camera pointed at a closed white door. He's not calm. You can hear it in every breath. He starts speaking in Vietnamese. "There's no one here at all," he says. And then, "It's knocking right at this door." Because it is. 4 loud, distinct knocks hit the other side of that door, one after another, and the man's voice shifts from fear into something closer to fury. Listen closely.
I need back. Hey, đấy đi về. Phòng cửa khóa hết đấy. Đây đi về. Không có ai luôn nhá.
Nó gọt được cửa này luôn này. Con người không được, con người lúc này mà mình đi ra mở cửa là thấy rồi à. Đi mẹ nhà mày. Đi mẹ. Nhịt mẹ. Gò đi. Gò đi, đó. Không có ai mà nó gò cửa này giờ đấy.
He charges the door, kicks it open, sends the chairs stacked in front of it crashing to the floor, and finds a long, empty corridor. Lockers, a sink, a clothes rack, hard hats on a shelf. Not a single person. He circles the whole room, daring whatever knock to do it again. It doesn't. 2 clips, same building, same impossible pattern. Something moving through a space where nothing should be. So what do you think was on the other side of that door? Because whatever was in that facility that night, it wasn't interested in being found. In this next clip, a man is home alone at night when something inside his own house turns violent. He's been filming, seemingly documenting something that's already been going on, when out of nowhere, a loud, aggressive banging erupts from somewhere unseen, rhythmic and heavy, like something is slamming the floor or ceiling repeatedly without stopping. He moves through the dark rooms in a panic, camera shaking, calling out, trying to figure out where it's coming from. It doesn't stop. He runs, slams a door behind him, and within seconds the banging hits the door he just closed. 3 heavy strikes, each one deliberate, each one telling him it knows exactly where he went. Watch.
Hello? Hello? No. Hello? Hello? Fuck. Hello? What do you want?
What makes this so hard to dismiss is how the source of that banging never becomes clear. No person appears. No animal. Nothing visible explains the force behind those sounds. Some believe this is classic poltergeist behavior, a term rooted in German meaning noisy ghost, typically associated with chaotic physical disturbances and a sense that something is reacting directly to the person present. Others think the energy here feels less random and more targeted, like whatever's in that house wasn't just making noise, but responding. You can hear it in how the banging follows him. What do you think it wanted?